Hello everyone, how's everyone doing? Alrighty, after a little break, we can continue our React adventures. As I recall last time, we basically made some of our React app work a little bit better than before. As in, we can actually log entries, right? We can do it for today that I know have it done, right? Beautiful. We have that, we display everything correctly. We have our visualization component ready for multi-line things whenever we hit details. Adding habits, I believe, still works. A, B, 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 C, 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 and we add it, and there it is. Okay, beautiful. So let's get rid of some of this extra data, I guess. I won't get rid of entries. I don't feel like looking for them right now. We can implement something in the future that, occasionally asks the database to get rid of all the stuff that wasn't supposed to be there anymore. But let's actually try something. What if something like a habit test 1 to 3, we are actually going to make it not just delete it, just mark it as deleted. How about that? We should still stop seeing it. So what I'm gonna do, maybe we're just gonna start assembling something, like a list of stuff. I'm just gonna grab some of the IDs. So something like test 1 to 3, A is whatever this is. Or else another test. Oh, we have test 1 to 3 and test space 1 to 3. Come on. And the newly created from today. And lastly, yeah, that's it. Okay. So let's just update them, okay? I believe I can just make a list of those. Let's say here. Okay. I believe I can just make a list and we can update them all at once. Just update all of those. And set deleted at add time. Now, that should be it, right? It doesn't like that. Of course it doesn't like that. Can I wrap it in parentheses? I can. And now it updated them. Beautiful. So we go back to wait a moment. Explore, habit, and those 4 are deleted. Therefore, if we're gonna go to our app, refresh, they don't show up anymore, even though they're still in the database. So we just confirmed yet another feature works. Okay, great. Yeah. And our network didn't send anything extra, just making double sure. Response, yep, just what we needed, nothing else. Okay. And here in the history, we have 11 entries, which is, I guess, a little bit too much. But, this one goes all the way back to somewhere. 09, 08, 07. So something like 09. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatnot. We're getting entries that are a little bit too irrelevant. So why is that? Why are we sending log entries that are older than they're supposed to be? That's a good question. So let's fix that error before we go in and actually start implementing because the plan for today is that we want to start adding extra page, which will be, hey, I click details, I see a different view, and we could use React Router to route to that view and have it, update the URL here. So it's not just that, and will be maybe habit and a name or something of this sort to kind of route us around. First, let's fix this issue with getting a little bit older things here from the database that we don't necessarily need. Don't necessarily need. So in our query, oh right, because for testing we did 3001 days. We want today minus 11. For now I had an extra day just in case something overlaps, so we're gonna leave it at that. It's just gonna be 11 days, so I can go back here, refresh, and now our habits, there we go. We have just 6 entries instead of 11 because we don't send any data from months ago. Okay, all right. So that didn't take long. That didn't take a long time. Sorry if I'll be having some problems speaking. It's the morning. It's tough time for me. Okay, so yeah, React Router. How does that work? Do we have anything about that? Because in React itself, we have just a little bit about React. I guess over time we can start reading more. And we have compiler, and that's it. So I believe React is like all, the core React is like a small library, and then you need to cobble everything together to make it work. So let's search for React Router. Yep. Oh, wow. That is dated looking. Okay. Updated 16 hours ago. 55,000 stars. I think we're in a good repository. Getting started, framework, library, upgrade, framework. Create React router at latest. Is that separate? No. Data. By moving root configuration outside of React rendering, data mode adds data loading, actions, and panning. And then we have declarative. Declarative mode enables basic routing features like matching URLs to components, navigating around the app, and providing active states with an API like link, use navigate, and use location. So framework and framework mode wraps data mode with vite plugin to add a full React router experience. Okay, so this looks a bit more what we want, but so we have type safety, intelligent code splitting, SPA, SSR, and all the stuff. So we could rouse TypeScript. That installation is kind of confusing. So this is just pick a mode, basically. Oh, and then for each one of them, we have installation type. So basically, the framework allows you to do all the fancy stuff and integrates directly with Vite. We use Vite, so it could be fun. Yeah, declarative. Basic routing only. Okay. So looks like okay, we just provide browser router around our app. Okay. And data was we moved the route configuration outside of React rendering. So I guess we don't do browser router in here. We have an approach that's somewhere outside. And therefore, yeah, we do router provider, and that will just figure out what to render somewhere outside of React. Okay. And the framework is the best. So let's look at the framework. So they're just saying that most projects start with a template. But I don't want template. This is existing project. How do I upgrade? You can view the template on GitHub to see how to manually set up your project. Okay, let's look at that. We'll try to figure it out. Installation is npm install brown dev. This is for the template. And DIY deployment and all that stuff. So we don't have anything here. So we'll basically need to look at, this is default. React router templates. Okay, so that's a default template. We don't have anything specific other than that. We have a bunch of other stuff. So we have vite-config. So let's start with package.json. What do we have about React router in here? We have React router node and serve. So I guess we would need that, and then React router dev. Let's see what our package.json looks like. Let's start figuring it out. Not this project. This will be this project. There we go. Package.json. Do we have anything mentioned React router? Not yet. Okay. So I guess we could start with normal dependencies. We can start from the beginning. Okay, everything's alphabetical, so that's good. Do we have any other version than 7.7? Oh, we have 7.8.0. Look at that. We'll be ahead of the docs, ahead of the template. And then we just had the React router dev for dev dependency. Let's just move it here. There we go. Okay. And anything else that looks like we actually need it? No. Oh, React router itself. How about that? So everything else is just what is this? Node and serve? Why doesn't this one start with the new @ symbol? Because it will break something? Possibly. Okay, I guess that will be it, right? Because then we have React router config. So server side rendering. No, we don't want that. So React dash router config. Okay. Now this, come on. React router config dot, what was it? JSON or JavaScript? What the hell was it? Okay, they had TypeScript, so JS in our case. Okay. We don't need those types, so that goes away. Satisfies config, we don't need that. SSR, false. So we're going full on SPA. Easy. TypeScript config, nothing crazy about this. We don't have TypeScript. Vite config. So we have Tailwind, React router, and TS config paths. Do we have Vite config? We have. So we have plugins React, and we want to add the React router. Interesting, this one doesn't have a React plugin in the first place. Hmm. I did not expect that. So let's see if I need both, or this will cause any problems. Okay, React router, and we are supposed to import it from React router dev feet. Okay, so that was the separate package, right? Okay. Maybe in the meantime I can do stop the thing, npm install, and see what's going to happen. Okay, no problems. Wow, 0 vulnerabilities in our entire project. That is surprising. Okay, this doesn't seem to have problems anymore. What else do we need to replicate? We did all those. Git ignores and whatnot. So what do we have in our public? Just a favicon and our app. We have we have some extra stuff. We have just a CSS, then we have root.tsx, and this is what renders the whole thing, right? Ooh. Ooh, this is different. And routes will be this thing. So I guess that's what we'll need to do. Basically, change the whole thing. So sure, let's start with routes.js. So in our sources, we don't do pages or anything else. New file, routes.js. Let's fix it up. Okay, so we create routes in which we're gonna put our, because normally it's just index. Export default index of this thing. This is a syntax I'm not sure about. But index is being called from here. Okay, so all right. So we get this index function from the React router, and then we can basically use it like, hey, we are pointing at this, whatever, TSX, in our case it will be JSX, this page to be the index of the entire app. Okay, all right. And we don't need to do any satisfied. It's all JS. So, no guide rails. Okay, so that's our routes. Therefore, we'll need to create new routes/home tsx. Ooh. So I guess we don't do pages. We just do routes/home.jsx. So, before we go there, let's look at our route. It's a bit longer, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy it. This is TSX, so we'll be able to probably simplify it by, root, yeah. Simplify it by removing some TypeScript stuff. Root JSX. So what do we have here? We import a bunch of stuff from React router. And that's it. Then we import type root, which we don't have anymore. So export constant links. So this will be some kind of links function. Pre-connect to Google font APIs. Static.com. Some extra style sheet. So I guess this is, we're building our, what currently we had as main JSX? Not really. Because import index CSS, strict mode app. Where is our HTML? Here's our index HTML. Do they have index HTML? No, they just straight up don't have index HTML. Okay. This is building it from scratch. I see. That's why they import style sheets here, because they'll just place it in meta or something. Somehow. Okay, meta and links, right? That's what it is. So I guess in the root JSX, I would need to go to our index and get our style sheet for the 98.css. And that will be all that we need. We don't need gstatic or any other links, right? That's all we need. So that's good. Import app.css. We don't have that. So let's just do that because we have only our pure CSS here. There we go. So then we have layout. Oh, all right. So we have, I guess, like in this case, very global case of a layout. And that's the keyword is coming from not here. Did it import it from somewhere? Coding Curtis, say Xcanti. Hey, how are you doing? So were they importing? No, they're not importing the layout keyword from anywhere. Where is this coming from then? Functional, oh, because we just defined it. Oh, of course. So we got children. Children will be of type we don't care. So we just extract children from whatever's given, and then we build our basically our HTML. So let's compare it just in case so that we have it looking roughly the same. So we have our HTML head with meta UTF-8, that's all good. Viewport, device width, initial scale 1, all the same. Here just tries to throw in links as a vite SVG. Huh. We're gonna throw that in this way. I don't feel like defining it here. Don't know how to define SVG in this case. Okay, we've got our link defined for that here. Good. And then we have title. Here we don't seem to have title. We don't seem to have any meta. But something tells me that title will be somehow taken from somewhere. All right? Something tells me React Router will basically add additional extensions so that we can specify the title of the page from outside of our here. It's just per page, okay? So I am not transferring this part. And then we have body, which should have children and some scroll restoration and scripts. Oh, I guess when we'll be switching between the pages, this scroll restoration should kind of restore us to where on a page we were. Okay. And Cody Curtis says, I'm good, thank you. How about you? I'm doing well. You seem busy. What are you building? And Edward says, hello to you too. How are you doing? What am I building? I'm building very, very, very simple little habit tracker where you can add a habit. You can log entries like for today. I don't know, I did eat breakfast. So I just mark it and there you go. There's a checkbox. So this is in React, as this is my first React project. And then the backend is in Dart. So again, first kind of project using Dart. So yeah, doing something like that. And behind the bot says, can you teach me React? You can watch from the beginning. I start with docs and whatnot. Although this is more documenting how I'm learning. So yeah. Encoding and Kurdish says, wow, that's cool as first project in Dart. Yeah, I mean, the front end is React, the back end is in Dart. It's not very complex. just in case, the link to the GitHub repo is in the description if you want to look through code yourself. But yeah, we use something like Dart Frog for the backend. I've heard there are better options. I should have it saved here. Maybe not anymore. But yeah, it's a rather simple backend. It doesn't do much. The most complexity comes from connecting to SurrealDB as the database, because you need to unwrap all the stuff, deal with dynamic JSON related stuff, and it's just messy. But yeah, something like that. We'll see what will come next for Dart. Maybe some Flutter app or something. Don't know. Coding says, I love how it visually appear. It's like 90s, which is, I really enjoy the style of all visual. Yeah, that's the magic of literally this one line. It's a style sheet I just imported. There's like 98.css, and it's fun. It's fun, although it takes some extra effort to actually make it appear that way, because yeah, it just it's kind of fun to make it look janky, and like, oh, I need to select this, then I need to go and select that and that before I can click here and save and all that stuff. It's just funny. All right. So what the hell are we doing? Oh, React router, right? So they're doing body with children here and those extra things. So I guess our layout? No. What was it? We had. Oh, our config was pointing at home.jsx. Maybe that will host, like how things are nested, because right now we have both body here with this specific style. And I think I'm gonna just straight up put it in here. I know this is not the nice thing to do, like per page, but in my case, for the entire app needs to have this extra style defined. And because this is React component, I guess we need to do this Reacty things so that this needs to be an object. Background color is this. And yeah, this is gonna be not that fun. Okay. Okay, I mean, that wasn't bad. Let's make it all that stuff. And we close it. Yeah. Let's just straight up make it into separate lines so that it's a little bit easier to comprehend what's going on. And I'm editing the wrong side. No. I'm editing the good side, right? JSX. Okay, that's good. And why does it want to do 4 spaces? Do I have everything else as 4 spaces or something? This is 2. This is 2 spaces. Why does this one try to be 4 spaces? And then using spaces, 2. There we go. Don't know where it's getting from. There we go. And coding says, is there any link to look? Although I'm assembly and C++ coder, but it seems cool. Yeah, look at the description of this live stream, and yeah, there's GitHub link. Just don't expect much. And React for C++ developer would be very, very confusing. All right. Alrighty. So we had the children, score restoration, nothing else. Here we just had the div, which was root. This is taken care of for us. And main.jsx, again, that's all taken care for us. So we went through that. Then we define our app, return outlet. What the hell is outlet? Okay, something pre-made. Okay. So I guess we don't need this file anymore. I'd say we could probably open and aside our app JSX because this is where we have that. But let's see. So we have error boundary props. Oops, an unexpected error occurred, and the stack will be some kind of stack, either nothing or string. Okay, I guess this is like for this what to display as an error message where we try to navigate to a page that doesn't exist. All right. So we've got message details. The requested page could not be found. There we go. And just render it this way, and that's it. Good enough for now. All right. And links are what? Fast refresh only works for when file only exports components. Use a new file to share constants or functions between components. And not CSLint stuff. Oh, because we're exporting it. Huh. Let's just straight up ignore it for now. Quick fix. Just for this slide. This is like one case where I'm going to do that because I have no idea what's going on right now. Okay. So now I guess we need to tackle the home JSX. So how did they do it? Because we replicated routes, we replicated route TSX. So now inside of routes, okay, so this is our like index page, our main page, right? And then just return a welcome component from some other place. It doesn't matter where from. And we can see that they export function meta. And I guess that's how we actually specify that, hey, we have some extra data here. So let's just copy it and we will mold it to our requirements. So we don't need to import that welcome in theory. And we need to specify that meta from which we don't really extract any information. So that's confusing. And sure, new React router app and whatnot. And this will be again complaining about the same thing, right? That fast refresh only works when this and that. Let's just do that for now. We'll see if it works in the first place. So instead of return welcome, we'll just return like straight up h1 hi. And we don't import our welcome component. I'll leave it there for now. Just comment it out. Is that it? Can we do npm run dev? Something tells me everything will just break. There we go. Okay, error could not find a root route module in the app directory as app root tsx. Where does it expect tsx? Beat config. React this and that. This doesn't really expect tsx. Let's search the project t.tsx. Oh, there we go. Because we have configured as searching for tsx. There we go. Let's try to restart. Nope. Still looking for tsx. I saved it. Come on. Oops. This might be more problematic than I expected. And we don't have any other references to tsx at all. Hmm. I guess they don't expect somebody to be crazy enough to just use JavaScript with React. Is that it? Am I supposed to just use TypeScript forced to be used, uh, forced to be to use it? Maybe, maybe not. Um, hmm. Something tells me that we should just jump the whole thing and okay, we need more complexity. Let's rewrite the app, right? And we just move to Next.js or something. And that would be one option, right? But I just hope that we could learn a little bit about just pure React Router, maybe slap on some state. But wow, this does not want to cooperate. Do we really have to switch to TypeScript? I guess we're going to try to, all right? We're gonna do it. So let me actually move this to this screen and this to this one. This way I can quick switch between them a little bit quicker. Alrighty. So what was it? tsconfig JSON. All right. Don't have that much patience to kind of not do that right now. And that means that our vite.config will be a little bit more complex because of that, I think. So we don't need this one. Let's just close them all. So React Router, we don't want Tailwind. We are not using Tailwind. tsconfig paths or all that stuff. It's fine, sure. And maybe this is enough. All right, so that's tsconfig. I mean, Vite, React Router. Guess we'll replace this whole thing. We'll just make sure to make it false. Now it's still complaining because I guess we don't have TypeScript in here. So React Router, wow, okay, build, dev, start, everything starts with React Router. I guess because we have it, we're supposed to have it installed. So yeah, maybe that's one reason why it didn't work in the first place, huh? But we already started switching to TypeScript, why not? We'll see how that goes. I think we're somewhat ready. So in our package.json, we are going to, where'd it go? We'll update our scripts so it's not just Vite. This is supposed to use Vite in the first place. Dependencies, we have this and that, isbot, React, React DOM, router, all that fun stuff we have, and dev dependencies. Types node, types React, types this. Let's copy all of those and we'll just remove the ones we don't use. Okay. So Vite, we have some globals and extra stuff. So let's see. Types node. Yes, please. React DOM. That's all good. We have plugin this, ESLint. We don't want Tailwind. We move TypeScript up here. Vite, we have a newer one, and config paths. Sure. Okay. So that's it for here. We need to revisit our roots. So yeah, it'll be literally copy paste. Our routes are here from route config. It'll be TSX this time, so it's all good. Root. Oh, this one's gonna require some more work. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna open it up. Oh, Oh, we need to change it to TSX, of course. And we're gonna paste reference code to the right. So that means all this is fine. Type root, that's what we need to import extra. We don't have our CSS here. Hopefully we won't need those little things, but now this is our links function. All right, we're gonna get some types. Layout also has types, what to expect from children. All right. Everything else here is fine. This one isn't happy because I guess we were supposed to do this. Guess that's what React wants, right? We just roll like that. But again, object literal may only specify known properties, and background color does not exist in properties. What? That's a new one. Our app stays the same. Error boundary just needs some extra type love. All right. And right now it's error everywhere because we haven't done everything properly yet. But other than that, I guess this is okay. All right. So now our app, nope. Excuse me. It's our home TSX. We had a single type here. Oh no, we had two. Let's just copy paste and see what happens. So our home TSX. All right. So we basically need the extra route on top. Meta needs the type of input arguments, even though we're not using them. And that's it. All right. So let's try to do npm install. See what happens. Okay, that was quick. So now npm run dev. Will it magically start working? No, of course not. We couldn't parse stuff in React router config.js, really. I have a comma somewhere, so unexpected this from ESLint. Ooh. Error loading this. Rollup error. Parse failure. Expected comma. Got this. Okay, so I guess this is because we have some extra ESLint config that isn't compatible with TypeScript, possibly. We have ESLint config.js that exists in here. We only specify JS and JSX files, so this is again something that we shouldn't really have here. Yeah, so let's go to our package.json and for now disable the ESLint packages. React hooks, refresh, the whole thing. Yeah, we're gonna do that. I'm not happy about it, but let's just make it work. And eventually we can move to something like Next.js, I guess. Have something prepackaged and learn the proper way, I guess. Even though something like that would be way overkill for a little app like this. So first npm install to get rid of those. Okay. Remove 101 packages. There we go. Oh, geez. But no, it's just straight up. Oh, because we have it as JS. That's the only problem. It's not TS. Seriously. But no, throwing you error, initial config, this and that. Could not find route module. Any app directory as app root tsx. Oh, because we're doing app. I guess I'm just overall confused now. We hit this. Where do we configure it? Root from something types home. Whatever this is. Our vite config doesn't specify it, so what the hell? But in the meantime, routes.js, we are pointing at routes. So that's correct. So where's the problem originating from? Vite config.js. First, let's switch to TS. And that's the first thing. I don't think that's gonna change anything. Could not find root module app/root tsx. Where are we importing root tsx, right? But where are we trying to get it from? Main tsx, that's another one. Although we're not using it. App dot, that's app.jsx, main tsx, and root tsx. And that's it. We're not specifying. Oh dear. This has some bunch of extra requirements that are very, very, very confusing. So this expects everything to be within app. Why? In our configuration file, we don't specify it here. Nor here. Do we specify it here? No, we don't. In here? No. Build server index.jsx, React router build, and all that stuff. That's it. This isn't even used. Nor this. Okay, this makes me upset because, well, we tried to add a simple library and it's like, nope, nope, nope. Everything's wrong, everything's wrong. So annoying. Something tells me we just need to start reverting everything back to normal, back to starting point. And either use a different, less fun approach. Like, okay, let's not use the Vite plugin. Let's just add it to the app in the simplest possible way. I think that's what we're gonna do. Because all of this is not nice right now. This we don't care. This will be staged at some point. Now, discard. Oh wow, this will really. Can I add like all of them and discard changes? Nope. This is one by one. Oswald again, VS Code. Sure, go to trash. You go to trash as well. This one. Wait. Discard this change. Discard this change. Come on. Is there restore? You please discard. Restore. There we go. Here. restore. And this one, .ts, go away. And hopefully now we can do npm install to restore everything we're supposed to. npm run dev. Please work. Okay, it might just work. No problem now. Okay, so our app is back. We restored everything. So let's just look at a different approach for this dev library. React router, not the framework way. We're gonna go that way by moving route configuration outside of React rendering. This adds loading and actions. So how involved is it? Because we do React DOM, create route, render. So we have that. And what? And it's just path is this, component is that, loader, load root data. This doesn't say much. So data mode installation. Again, they want a template. Bootstrap builder template, install React counter router for okay. I mean, we use create vite, right? So that's good. So install React router. We just add this fun stuff. Okay. And that's it. And for routing, configure routes or routes, whatever. Routes are configured as the first argument to create browser router. At minimum, you need a path and component. Okay, so this way, instead of having app.ts or whatever, we would basically have this. So here's a larger sample. Because at minimum, we just need, hey, main path is component root, right? But here we have a little bit more. Path this, component that. Children, we have home, we have about, and we have auth, which also has auth layout. That has children. Okay, I see. And some other stuff. Okay, this sounds doable. Nested roots and all that stuff. All right, let's do this. Let's try that one. So add the React router. Okay. npm. Wait, that was just -i, not add. React router. Didn't have any ads. No, just that. Okay, and 3 packages. That's not too bad. There we go. All right. And then we just need to go to our, wherever we have this code. So where was it? And main.jsx, yes, create root. We have by element ID and whatnot. So here we have, again, create root by element ID root. And in render, we'll just do route provider. There we go. No strict mode, no app, just this thing. Okay, and we just need to define our router, which will be just that. And, oh, okay. So this is where we will have our routes defined, right? The router. That's it. So we need to import those two. Okay, all right. And we, in theory, don't need a strict mode because I guess it adds that automatically in some way. All right, and I guess that should be it to actually run it. In theory, it's just gonna always point us to same place. Yep, hello world. There we go. Got our hello world. Still uses the index HTML to attach our style sheet, so that's good too. All right, this is much better progress. So with our routing, that's what we have here, right? Function root. Oh, that's a component root. So in this case, we have path and element. Well, we could do path and components. So in theory for this, we could do, import app from app.jsx. And instead of doing this, we would do component, which will be app. That's it. Wait, what am I looking for? First, this delete. Capital C component. Okay. All right. Save and see what happens. Yep, we got our component. Everything works still, no problem. All right. I see. So in our app.jsx, that was basically our main page. We have our query client provider and all that stuff. So something tells me that, we don't want this here. We want this, I guess, in here already. Because we're expected to wrap the router provider with our query client provider. Let's try that, I guess. Gonna grab this query client. We're just gonna shove it in the main JSX. Okay. Gonna create it down here. Before or after router? That's the question. Let's do it after. We have our router, then we create our query client, and we wrap everything. So our app doesn't deal with it. We can just do, hey, this is our main page. I guess we'll be able to skip this whole thing in the first place. So we'll just plop it here. And there we go. I guess that could work. Let's see if it actually worked. Let's restart the app just in case. Refresh. Looks like our logs and everything are in place. Okay. Not logs, I mean data. So that means that instead of going and including this app.jsx, we just do main page, which already is kind of named properly. So pages, main page, JSX, right? We can just do straight up this and import instead of this one. We're gonna just do this one, right? And this will be main page. And that will be our main root. Okay. That's good. So yeah, app.jsx, delete. We go back here, refresh, and we're good. So now let's try to add an extra page. For now, we can just do extra one, which will be maybe path about. Okay, and we're just gonna do element, which will be, I know, h1. Nothing to say about this. Right? This will be our element, and I guess that's it. So let's see. We're here, we refresh, we're good. But if we're going to go slash about, there we go. Nothing to say about this. Okay, so our routing works. Yay. It only took an hour to make it work. Okay. All right. So now we'll be able to probably do something more like this, and habit slash, and I don't know, habit ID. I think we'll need to start consider actually sending IDs, which is not fun, but we could probably do that. So we have our routing, right? Auth, concerts, and look at that. Here the path has this fancy thing, which is like, a dynamic path, right? So in our case, it will be, we can probably do it actually proper way. So we could do path habit or habits. Sure. And instead of just component, we'll just do children. And in our children, we'll have the first one, which will be path and some. Path will be whatever, habit ID. And component will be habit details. How about that? So that means we'll need to pretend to import pages, habit details. And that would make it normally happy, but hey, we don't have it yet. So in our pages, we just paste this one, rename it to habit details. Okay. Now it's gonna be happy. See, no errors. So in theory, when we go here, there we go, unexpected application error, 404 not found. So yeah, that's basically a situation where where the router doesn't find a route. We do habits. Okay, habits just shows empty thing. Good to know. So we have defined a parent. We just didn't give it anything to display. So we do habit 1, 2, 3, and it's just gonna put us here, even though we still have the habit 1, 2, 3, because of course we just copy pasted our habit details, which is not what we're supposed to show here. So we can probably delete this temporary thing. I can delete it from the actual main page. This way we have things maybe done a little bit more properly, right? So we had sorting here, we didn't need that. We had extracting of values, we don't need that anymore. Let's just tidy it up. This goes away. Sure. Okay, that doesn't look bad now. So main pages JSX is done. Now, what do we need to display on the actual habit page? I know that we'll need to have on top will be the title, so we can probably hard code stuff for now. Something like habit data, dialog, all the stuff we don't need. We can always copy paste later. Okay, there we go. Let's not even have any of query stuff yet. We're not using state yet, nor habit cards. Main toolbar, no. Literally nothing for now. Although in main toolbar, we might want to actually put something in main toolbar. Although it won't be the main one, so nope. Main page CSS, no. No. Okay. So we're gonna do where the first thing will be just h3 or something. Test habit 1. Okay, that's what we're gonna call it. Then we're gonna have the description. This is the description of the selected habit. There we go. Just some kind of text. And after that, we'll need the visualization. So for now, let's just do this P as a placeholder. This is where the habit visualization will go. And then at the end, we'll have the This is where all the habit entries, as in history, will go. And let's put periods at the end to add extra length, and that should be it in my opinion. So now when we go to the page, we should already display that. There we go, test habit 1. This is the description of the selected habit, and we got everything. Okay, so that works. Now, how do we read that value? Because notice that we have, habits 1 to 3. How do I read that 1 to 3 from the path? Do we have anything about it? Route objects define the behavior of a route beyond just the path component, like data loading and actions. We'll go more detail route objects guide. So, loader, fetch team and whatnot. Okay. Nested routes, layout routes. So yeah, that's kind of fun because we can have like a layout component. So a component and then whatever inside, so we could wrap a bunch of stuff. Again, we don't need that yet. Index routes are defined by setting index true on a route object without a path. Okay. Prefix route, we don't care. Dynamic segments. If a path segment starts with colon, then it becomes a dynamic segment. When the route matches the URL, the dynamic segment will be parsed from the URL and provided as params to other router APIs. Okay, so we have team ID, all right? And our loader then can, I guess, receive it. Or okay, or in our component, we can do use params. Excuse me, from our React router. And that's how we will do it. Okay. Use params, and now we are params. So in our habit details, we're just going to throw in this thing. And then we're gonna say constant. This should be habit ID. Oops. Is use params. That's it. That's it. So that should be our habit ID. And therefore, let's just plop it here. How about that? Let's see if that works. 1, 2, 3. There we go. So if we're gonna change to be, I don't know, whatever. We've got whatever. Okay, good. So that problem is solved. Now, because now we would just need to basically be able to just do something like eat breakfast. I mean, here it kind of works. Even the spaces worked, but that's not the greatest. So it'd be nice to be able to escape it, which might be something that would possibly happen automatically whenever we do links. Don't know. But okay, so we're able to get this. For now, let's just maybe we actually could do something like that. Because this will be so far always the last thing. Let's just screw the escaping for now. Let's just make it real simple. So that in our main page, oh no, this will be probably just habit card, right? We have the button details, so we can do on click. Will be let's say navigate or like open details. Open details page, and that's where we're gonna pass it here, and that should be it. So now habit card, we'll just do function, open details page. It doesn't care, it doesn't need to receive anything. All we need to do is navigate. Send tells me React Router will have something like how to navigate, right? Can have multiple dynamic segments, all that fun stuff. Optional segments, splats, as in catch all, and we have literally star parameter. Okay, all right. So we have route objects, which I don't care too much about. I mean, we have additional stuff like middleware, loaders, and whatnot. Actions should revalidate and all that stuff. We don't need to care about that in our app for now. Navigating. Navigating in data mode is the same as framework mode. Please use the navigating guide for more information. So let's see. We have navlink. This component is for navigation links that need to render active and pending states. I'm sorry, I just haven't slept well. I'll be yawning a lot today. Navlink, React Router. So we can just plop navlink to where, and it's just gonna be a link, right? Renders default class names for different states. Okay, but what about a button? They also call back props. Whatever. Then we have a link. When the link doesn't need active styling, okay. We have form component, redirect. Inside of route loaders and actions, you can use redirect. We don't care. Use navigate. There we go. This hook allows the programmer to navigate the user to a new page without the user interacting. Usage of this hook should be uncommon. It's recommended to use other APIs. Really? So maybe we should try this navlink after all. But okay, so this is active pending transition. That's what navlink does. Instead of that, we could just use link and wrap our button in it. Could we do that? Let's try it. Let's just straight up try it. So in our habit, we're going to import our link. And therefore, we're going to wrap the button in our link to, and how to do that? Habits. And here will be the name. So we're going to get there in a second. And our link will be wrapping the whole thing. So we don't need any of this. We wrap it here. So let's make it multi-line so that's easy to understand. There we go. And instead of just static habits, we're gonna do this thing. Okay. And therefore, here we'll be able to put in the, I guess, name of the thing. It will be an escape, but oh well. Or maybe magically it's gonna escape stuff. I don't know. We'll see. Save it. Open details page. We don't need that at this point. Sure. Let's see what happens. Let's go to just the app. We click details and it takes us to eat breakfast. This takes us to sleep every day, and this takes us to wake up every day. Okay, wow, that worked and doesn't escape anything, but oh well, for now it works. Okay, it's a local app for now, so yeah, another success. We have navigation. So now what we need to do is basically load the data for the actual component, for the actual very specific habit. So for that, we would need to basically add something to add another endpoint to our Dart server. So maybe what we can do, let me roughly specify what we want to accomplish today for the rest of the stream. Because, yeah, I don't want to go too long today. So what we need to do is add another endpoint to our server that can request a specific habit information. And what it should return for now is, of course, the name, the description, and then history of entries. We should be able to reuse big chunk of our code. I don't know. It will return everything, all the entries. And don't know. We'll try to plug it to visualizations, but I don't know. And we'll just render them in a very, very, very crude way under it for now. And that will be the requirement for the stream, just to have, hey, fetch it on the backend and display it in some crude way. And then we're going to go in and maybe make it a little bit nicer. So let's start with our backend. Because right now we have overall habit as an index. Now, how do we go about in Dart Frog to specify some kind of, parameter in the route? Because right now we have just habit and we need to manually do get and post, which is disgusting. Can we do it better? So home and Dart Frog, right? We go with get started. So our routes, we have this creating routes, all that fun stuff, request, context, HTTP method, headers, query parameters. There we go. So that's what we need. We can access query parameters via the context request URI query parameters. So on request, access the incoming request. Okay. And then parameters. All right. Name and whatnot. How do we define the route then? Where is that information? Because, okay, we try to extract name, but what? For the key name, how do I specify a key? This documentation proves to be mediocre for Dart Frog, to be honest. Defaulted there. Sure, whatever. It's just JavaScript. So here it's, hide there if we requested our homepage. And there's, okay, query parameter. My bad, it's not route parameter. Really, so that's all we can do. Dynamic routes. Oh, wow, here, separate segment. Dartfrog supports dynamic routes. For example, if you create a file called routes posts id dart, then it will be accessible via post 1 and post 2 and so on. Routing parameters are forwarded to the onRequest method as seen below. So we can do, onRequest, request context, and we have string ID. ID because we specified it like this. Okay, so just square brackets and we should be able to manage it, right? So in here we create a new file, which will be, I guess, ID or name for now. Because we don't pass IDs per se. So it'll be name. Which kind of complicates it because if we're gonna rename something, suddenly the route changes. So let's just rely on the name first, and next stream maybe we're gonna remake it, redo it so that maybe we actually use some kind of IDs that we provide from the backend. Yeah, I guess it'll be more idiomatic, right? But for now we have name.dart, and this should give us some kind of idea what to do with that. So I'm just gonna straight up copy the index, and this way we can start stripping away stuff we don't need. We're not doing any math, so go away. This won't do any math either. So we have what I'm gonna ignore all the imports for now. On request For now, we'll be doing only get requests, okay? For get a specific habit. So it'll be get habit and not plural, all that fun stuff. So we are deleting the post habit. We don't want that. So what we'll be doing here really, we have context and we also have the string name. That's what we'll be extracting. So we can also pass it on here with context, and we'll be also having string habit name. There we go. All right, so our get habit should have all the information it needs to go on. We create our connection to the database, and we'll be able to get a specific habit with all its what do you call it? Come on, with all its log entries or whatnot. So when we were listing all the habits, I mean all of them, then we're doing something like first we were getting all the habits and then all the log entries and kind of combining them. That's what we're doing. But this time we know the specific ID. So what we could do, if we would start with log entries, what we would end up doing is that each log entry would have info about the habit. That's something we don't really need. So we could probably specify and start doing something. Maybe I'm just going to copy it and I'm going to start in Surrealist to kind of figure out a query quickly. So in our Explorer, let's look at habit, something that has, I don't know, eat breakfast. Okay. Let's copy its ID and pretend that we want to get all the information about it. So the easiest way will be to return return this habit. Bam, and we have this. So we would need to do dot star to get everything from it, and that's how we can, in theory, get a habit. But of course, we don't want that because we want to get extra information from it. So let's do select. And what we really need is, we don't care about ID for now. So we want the name, we want the description, and that's it from the habit. Okay, when we're gonna do that, notice that we have a list and then we have a this thing. So let's do select from only habit. That should make it that instead of having a list of results, we're just gonna have one because we're guaranteeing there's only one habit. There we go, already simpler to extract data from. So description name. And then we would need to basically say that, hey, we also want to have history, or how are we doing it? Entries? How are we returning it from the other one? How about this? And we had log entry and okay, so we call it log entry in a database. So maybe we could do something like entries, or let's just log entries. Okay, we want to return those. So in theory, we could here put our select. So let's do select. For now, let's say everything from, and now it will be log entries where habit ID, I believe it was. Let's just verify it in here. In our schema, we have the log entry, which has, of course, deleted that, habit ID. Okay, that's what we care about, habit ID. Where habit ID is, and I mean, in theory, we could just hard code it here, right? That's one thing. The other, I mean, let's try that. Let's see what happens. Log entries is nothing. Great. How about here? I go back and eat breakfast. I mean, it has entries, so I'm doing something wrong. Let's try to run literally this. Oh, that returns nothing. Ooh. Why is that? Let's try the separate thing. Log entry. There we go. So log entry. And hopefully this is good. There we go. So we have habit description and log entries is all this. So what do we need from log entry? Because this is just select statement. So instead of everything, we'll do, of course, the date, value, and notes. And that's all we need. We don't need to have habit because we already have that. So this should be a little bit better. Run. And there we go. We've got all the entries. Beautiful. So it feels a bit like doing GraphQL stuff, in my opinion. I don't know why. I guess because it's so easy. But the other thing is that we don't want to display the deleted stuff. So where habit ID is this and deleted at is none, as in it's not specified. Okay, there we go. So this would let us basically, yeah, return the whole thing. But now the point is that what if the user requests to see a habit that was deleted? This would allow them to basically query a habit that has been deleted. So let's try to do where deleted at is none. Right in here, okay? So do we have any habits that are deleted? Yes, we do. Let's say this one. So let's change it for this habit. Okay. And select both spots, replace it, and run query. Notice that we don't have anything. No result. If I would remove that statement, we would be able to see, hey, we have this thing with those entries, and description is none, name exists. So okay, so this works. That works. Now let's get back to our correct one, breakfast matter, right? Eat breakfast. So now I would like it to, so that I don't have to have those two copied here. I believe we can do something like parent.id. Can I do that? Yes, I can. Therefore, if I'm going to switch from eat breakfast to something like, I don't know, sleep every day. That's quite a handy habit to have. And I will change this one thing here. It should fetch entries for that specific habit. There we go. They change dates and whatnot. Beautiful. All right. I think we have our query ready. Let's just format it in a little bit more civilized way, where we want to select name and description. And we have this nested select. So we could kind of make it prettier as well. Select this. I guess we could do it this way, right? From where? Ah, there we go. Beautiful. Okay. So this would be as log entries. And then we have from only habit, where this is the thing. Okay, this looks a bit better, a bit more readable. Okay, we have our select statement with this subquery and whatnot. I like it. All right. So in our backend, we can go to our name dart, and instead of having this, we'll just plop this thing. Bam. All right. This doesn't like this because I guess we need to escape it. Yep. And now this complains about use row string to avoid using escapes. Try making a string raw string and removing the escapes. No, I need the escapes because, oh no, I don't actually. How do we do that here? We had this time now, deleted that. Oh, because we were getting absolutely everything. We must have done it differently here, right? The R thing. So that all those were in place. So we were using the raw one. So we just add R and suddenly we have a raw string. We don't need to use escapes. The only thing is that instead of hard coding the habit here, we just need to do the habit ID. And we're going to provide it, okay? So we will provide it somewhere similar way like here, right? We just need to provide them in those parentheses as an extra parameter. There we go. It'll be habit ID. And that will be just habit name for now. Ah, right, because we don't have the ID of the habit. So that means we need to search for it. Sure. So let's update our query and eat breakfast, okay? So from only habit where not only deleted at is none, but also the name is eat breakfast. And I don't know if I can use single or double here. We're just gonna do that. How about that? Run. There we go. It worked. We still have our eat breakfast. We are still guaranteeing that there's only one instance of that because we have an index on this specific field that says, hey, names are unique. You can't have two of the same name. So I guess we're gonna do that part a little bit differently, right? Sure. Where name is, and instead of doing this, we're gonna just provide it with a habit name. Okay. All right. We don't need to provide anything else. Just that. So in theory, we have our query sent to the database. Okay. And we can simplify it because we don't need to do this DB query. We can use our other helper, which will be where single query. Okay, because we're expecting to, we are sending only single query. Before, in our main one, we are actually sending two queries. Give me all the habits and all the stuff, and then we're linking them together here to make this proper tree. In post habit, we're doing single query. We specify that it's going to be dynamic object or whatever. We're going to get something. And then only when it's okay, we're straight up returning it to the color. And I think we'll be able to do exactly the same thing. We do, hey, this is a single query of some kind of dynamic object. We don't care what it is at this point. There we go. If result, not s, right? The query result is null. What? What am I doing here? I don't want null. I want the query result to be is okay. So let's actually do this. Query result, if query result is okay, as in if it's not okay, We're gonna say, hey, there was a problem with the database. And other than that, we can start processing it. So in here, the regular way to process it is, oh, here we did, if it's okay, we just do 204, so we don't even process it. But here we need to get the results, all right? The results are of importance here. So final data will be query results dot result, all right? It's just some dynamic data, and we will actually send it over like that, okay? So what we can do is send response, which will be body, will be just JSON body. There we go. That's it, I guess. Nothing else needs to happen. We just query and pass it on because our query already ensures that we don't show anything deleted in any way, and we match by a specific name. I mean, not the greatest because we're gonna return, or maybe no, it should be fine because we return entire object with everything. Therefore, we don't need to unwrap it or anything, it's already good. And Jojo Joshi says, yo mate, hey, what's up? How are you doing? Okay, so this was rather simple. Let's see how quickly we can make it work on our React site. So on our main page, we were playing with this whole habit data and whatnot. So let's do the same. We are not going to be pushing any changes, so we'll have it relatively simple. So we're gonna use the same thing here from React query. And we don't need the card, habit details. There we go. So let's import this. We won't be doing any mutations right now, so just use query will be good enough. And on the main page, we need to create our client, and we can just copy the whole habit data because our query will be very, very, very similar. So let's extract the habit ID from params in the first place anyway. And this won't be habit ID. This actually should be habit name. Can I do like capitals? Can I do it? That's the question. Main.jsx, and this will be habit name. I mean, I can't see why I wouldn't be able to. So yeah, let's just do that. This will be our habit name. Query client, there we go. Is declared, just never used. Okay, so habit data is spanning error and data. So we are fetching a single habit. So our query key will be habit. Query key. How did it work? Because can I just pass in several segments? Yeah, because this is a query key. That's just how we do it, right? So next one will be the habit name, okay? This way we differentiate between different requests for different habits. And Jojo Joshua says, I don't understand anything, but I'm trying to learn. So just curious to watch. I want to ask, like I'm at HTML, CSS level, so you can tell me what is React and Node.js, by the way. Got a new subscriber. Oh, thank you for subscribing. So what is React? So if you're at the level of HTML and CSS, you can think of, if you're at HTML and CSS level, you think about pages, right? I have a page, which is my HTML. Let's just ignore all the CSS stuff. Let's ignore all the JavaScript stuff. HTML just represents your page, right? And your browser basically loads all it does, it loads HTML and displays it. So you can think of something like React or other frameworks as if instead of you always building the large full page, what if you could kind of extract parts of your page? Maybe you're displaying maybe you're making a blog, right? And you have your front page of the blog, which has a list of recent blog posts. So what you could in theory do is kind of extract the concept of that entry, that single entry on the list or on a table or whatever, of like a blog post link / summary, which says, oh, this is a title, maybe a little bit of text describing it, and a button read more. Okay. So with something like React, you can kind of extract it into a separate component, and therefore reuse it throughout a page. So instead of you copy paste HTML with all the stuff, you just copy paste a component and just pass it. This is a name, this is a description, this is that, and now will on its own take care of how to display it, how to generate HTML for it. And Jojo says, like, I know it uses it's used for effects, I think, and stuff. It's more of in a way that, you know, if I have my main page, which looks currently like this, right? This is the main page here on the left. All it is a button, and then we have some kind of div with heading and some checkboxes and 2 more buttons, right? And you can see I have this 3 times. This section here, I don't have it copy paste of the actual HTML. If we're gonna look at it, at least at the HTML-like part, which doesn't look much, I'm displaying a component that I define as toolbar. Then we have our div with some, where we actually put habits or whatever, which is actually those cards. So rendered habits will be defined by a habit card that they define. And then if I'm gonna go to habit card, maybe that one will look a little bit more normal. You can see that I define, hey, this has a legend for a name, some another component that will display all the checkboxes in the proper format by data that is provided, and then some kind of container that will hold the 2 buttons to define it. And you can just kind of make things work, fetch data, and generate the page automatically. And it can change. So that's the whole idea of React. If you're at just HTML and CSS level, it might be a little bit too much. Go through JavaScript properly first, like learn a lot of JavaScript first, and then consider moving to something like React or vue.js or whatnot. Okay, so going back to here, to our habit details, we need to fetch the specific habits. So we do our query key, we added our habit name to that query, query function. So fetch this habit slash, and we need to insert our thingy here. So with fetch, we don't have, I think, any fancy ways of just adding it here. So we're just gonna straight up do a habit name. This disgusting way of not escaping, but I don't care at this very moment. Just want to have a proof of concept. So we're gonna request that specific habit data, and we should, in my opinion, get it error when fetching habit, and we're gonna put in habit name. So we have info, and this is that. So that's our error message. And then we need to handle this whole situation of, oh, we actually don't need the query client either, because that was for mutations. So now we basically need to handle situations if we're loading data or not, or all that fun stuff. So let's do is pending. Okay. So if we're loading, let's just display h3 loading. Okay, loading data for, and we're gonna straight up put quotation mark here and just inject the habit name habit dot dot dot. Okay, we're gonna display that information if it's pending. And then if is error, let's just ignore situations where whatever. We're gonna do h3 failed to load data for this habit. That's good enough for now. That'll be another thing. And then if is not is pending and is not is error. Okay. Then we can actually display the stuff that we want, which is, we can move it here. There we go. Yeah. But we of course need to wrap it in yet another fragment. Just so annoying. There we go. There we go. And we close this thing, and that should take care of it. And instead of habit ID, we plop habit name. This should be our, we should have data loaded already. So we should do data dot, here will be data dot description. Otherwise, it will be none. Okay. And let's here, instead of just habit name, let's just do data dot name. Otherwise, we display the habit name. Because remember, in the future, this will be ID. And then visualization, let's ignore the visualization. We'll just display the history, okay? So for the history, we could go relatively easily here, I guess. Let's make it into an unordered list, okay? And then we can go basically data dot log entries, which we can, I guess, just make sure that just in case it's an empty list. So, because waiting for data, so let's just do constant log entries. Right here is data log entries. So let's do data if we have it fetched. Then if we have entries, or if there are none, just make sure it's a list. And this way we'll always have this recalculated correctly, as in, empty list or the actual data. So we're gonna do log entries dot map. So we're gonna go over that, and basically for entry, we will generate some data, right? So for now, what we're gonna do is basically say date dash something, some very simple thing. Maybe even a check mark. Hey, that's a good idea. So we could go into our 95 something. Of course, we don't have it here. Because why would we? Yeah. 98 CSS. So our checkbox was relatively simple, right? That's all we care about. Input and label. So yeah. So I want to display that. So this will be our HTML. And therefore we need to, of course, do the annoying fragment. Okay, and this will be do I need to do like a double one? I don't even know. Let's just do this. So open it, close it, this thing, and close that. Okay, this is getting messy. And Jojo says, like, you do website review or something, or just you do your work? Right now, I'm just simply learning React and Dart. But if you want me to look at some kind of website that you made, sure, I can take a look. No problem. All right, so what the hell's going on here? Oh, because if we're gonna do that, I need to return this thing, which this kind of is unhappy because I don't close this one. And that does this. So do I need that in the first place? Can I just... Yes, I can just do that. Okay, good. Simple will be checkbox. ID, I really don't care. Label for, doesn't matter what it's for. So input type, I guess I could just wrap in a div or something. Okay. Input and label. So input will be basically checked is entry.value. Okay, that's the whole idea here. And then we need to do on change, which will be literally nothing. Do nothing on change. There we go. And label should be what? A date? In theory, a description. Let's do a date. So it'll be entry.date. And possibly it's gonna work. And under that, just in case, we're gonna do if entry.description. We're gonna actually put in the description. Entry.description. And hopefully that's gonna work. So we've got this part and we have everything nicely closed. Now this closes this one. Another one closes this one, and this should close that one. So now where is the problem? It doesn't like what? Doing R brace or something. So it didn't detect that I finished this component here. I guess I need to wrap it in those? No. What is the problem here? Without that, it also has a problem. Okay, so without that has a problem. This seems to be self-contained. This seems to be self-contained. Right? Yeah, so this one seems to be contained, right? What if I delete it? No, it's still. Huh. This, by the way, needs to be evaluated. So that's good. We have this and we are closing it and then closing the other one. So something doesn't feel right here. I'll do this. We still have the same problem. Ay, ay, ay. Do we really need to do the double? It seemed to work for a second. So I'm very confused now. Return this and bam, bam. It's like it doesn't detect that this is closed. Because I'm a moron, that's why. It's always the obvious answer. All right. And Jojo says maybe the brackets should be in diff, like one upper and one should be lower. Yep, it's just slash in the wrong place when not paying attention. Okay, so this should work. We have this displayed here as a part of this list. So we're just doing iterating here. It's the first time we're doing it right in the JSX, not separate. But I guess this is good enough. So let's see what happens when we load a page like that. If we actually get anything working, because this will be tests where we're testing both the front and the backend part. So I do eat breakfast, loading data. And we're getting to hundreds. Just no response data, right? So we didn't get anything. We requested eat breakfast. So stuff was, what do you call it? Escaped here. So that's good. What's going on our backend side? Did we get anything? Oh, wow. Okay, we got stuff. We had route conflict and route habit log both resolved to this. API habit log. Oh, because we have this fancy config. That's what it is. Yay. All right. So basically pushing our logs conflicts with this one, and therefore we are requesting data from the wrong place. Okay. Or like the Dart frog is too stupid to realize what's going on. All right. So let's move this log to somewhere else, okay? Instead of habit, let's just throw it into overall, move here. And therefore, when we request that, as in we want to push it, we're gonna do that. I don't like this Dart frog for the server. Yeah. I mean, another option would be to, instead of having habit log and pass in the name of the habit within this, we could in theory do habit folder by name and then stuff. Yeah, I think we're gonna do that. So we're gonna new folder name, and in there we're gonna create a new file index.dart, and that will be our content. Okay. So this way we just basically moved it here, and we can do that. Our log lives inside of here. We won't worry about that yet because we're not using logging. We're gonna fix it afterwards. And Harry says, is learning Dart worthy in this AI era? Define worthy. I'm learning it to be able to contribute to some projects and to learn a language, to keep my brain working instead of letting AI replace my brain. All right, so what do we have here? And why are you copy pasting stuff? What the hell? Please don't copy paste stuff. One time is enough. Okay, so will this work now? Loading data? No, it still doesn't work. Okay, no responses. I mean, we got some kind of responses, but let's see what's going on here. I wonder if rearranging this stuff just completely confused this thing. So let's just stop it and restart it. And okay, so what do we have here? Error, too many positional arguments. One allowed, but two found. Try removing the extra positional arguments. All/log contents. Wait, what? Too many. One allowed, two found. In frog server Dart. Okay, so something tells me found this candidate arguments don't match. Okay, so I guess our log needs to receive the string name. And that could make it happy. Oops. Not this. Okay, now it might be happy. It's just the log is expecting to receive the name from here. We didn't have it specified, and I guess it wasn't happy because of that. So let's see. Refresh. Okay. We've got similar errors or something. No errors on this end. So what the hell's going on? Because we're not getting anything from here. We are sending a request to API, habit, localhost 8080, so that's good. And this. Something tells me this being escaped just messes up everything else. So if we're going to go to our not log, we want the, it's from a habit, from name, this one. That's why I don't like the index name here and another index. I like unique names of files because then it's like, which index is that? It's just hard to navigate. And Jojo says, you have a Discord server or something for coders and stuff, like get help or something? Seems cool idea. I have this Discord server. I didn't do much in there, but it exists. I usually post a link or sometimes share something. Not a lot of people there, but if you want, you can join. Again, link is in the description. So, what do we have here? So, let's make it that on a request, we're going to basically log that, hey, we're getting this specific name. So let's do print getting habit with name, and we're gonna do name or habit name. There we go. Something as simple as this should let us see what's going on. So when a moment we refresh, and here we should see, yep, there we go. So the whole problem is that we have this data, this value is basically escaped. If we're gonna provide this as a name, it's gonna just, not have that space in there. So how do we unescape stuff in Dart? Dart unescape URL. Can we do something about here? URL encoding in Dart. So that's from 2013. Wow. 12 years ago. So apparently back then you could do URI, encode full or decode full. All right. But this would be entire URI. Huh. Update from 2019. Look at that. That's better. There's now support for encode decode URI in the Dart URI class. This plays in the separate library called Dart URI, so it can be shared. And this Dart implementation of JavaScript URI encode URI component. Well, Just download a file. Why not? That's sketchy. The Dart URI. That was from Dart 120 or something. Do we have like a more modern one? Oh, URI class. There we go. A parse URI such as URL, but that will be basically only the URL, right? I mean, one option around it would be just to, because the Dart thing. Jojo says, what's your age? I'm over 30. I joined, buddy. Hope we get to know each other. Sure. Glad you joined. So this would be normally used by something like this whole Dart Frog server that we're using and automatically parse stuff for us. But for some reason, it doesn't. Therefore, we can't really use that because we're not dealing with entire length. We're just dealing with a little part of it. Okay. So something tells me that the easiest way will be to just do base 64 encoding, right? So let's say in our app here, whenever we send a request, we don't just do habit name, we just encode it. And what was A to B or B to A or something like that? Let's quickly check it. How do I base 64 encode a string in JS? I think it was A to B, right? No, B to A. Okay, all right, B to A. I can live with that. So we're gonna do just B to A and habit name, and this way we'll have it encoded without any weird symbols. And on our Dart side, we'll be able to do the opposite. And how do I base 64 decode in Dart? We'll see if there's any package or is this built into something. And Jojo is asking, can you review it? I like it. I don't know where you're putting at. Probably because, you probably pasted a link and YouTube chat just removes links. So sorry about that. Okay, so we have Dart convert and decode string is just string. Base 64 string is just this. And decode is UTF-8 decode. Okay. Less straightforward, but I guess we can do that. So let's start with Dart convert. All right. Let's move this one to here. And we can just do that. So we get the string name and we should pass it on. But we'll do it that straight up here. We're gonna straight away just convert it to our value. So we can do, because it's like a system package, we're gonna put it up there. And what was it? Decoded name is UTF-8. Okay. Decode? Yes, we have decode. So now be base 64 dot decode, and we put in our name, right? Is that it? That's supposed to be it. So their decoded name will be passing on here. So in theory, this should be enough. Okay. And that should make the whole thing work. Refresh. And there we go. We got our eat breakfast. We have our description. This is where our visualization will go. And we have all the little entries. So if I'm gonna go back, can I see like sleep every day? There we go. Wake up every day? There we go. But what if I'm gonna add an entry here for today that, let's say I didn't do it and like I totally forgot. Let's say I totally forgot to sleep, right? And oh, now we can't add it. We need to fix our logging. Okay, all right. So our log, saving it, we need to fix that in our main page, right? So instead of habit log, it will be habit, and we'll need to put in this thing here. So it'll be very similar. All right. So we'll need to put in the habit name. So it will be B2A habit name. And that should point at a good direction. Okay, that should point in a good direction. Well, we'll remove the habit name from here. Sure, because that will be redundant. And therefore, we just need to update our log to actually get the data. So we'll need to take very similar approach where we decode the name. So in here, when we begin, we have a string name, right? We need to decode it. And what was the name of the package? Dart convert. And Jojo says, can you do? Well, I guess you tried to send a link. You can't send links. You would need to get creative to display it in the chat. Without a link, I don't know what I'm supposed to review. All right, guess we'll be nearly done soon. So let's do decode name, this and that, and we pass it on to our post. So it'll be on post log, not only context, but we'll also do decode name. So post log will be the habit name as a string. There we go. And therefore, we don't need to extract the habit name from here. Other than that, I think everything will go exactly the same way. We can ignore this part. We could ignore this part. And yeah, we just continue on. No problem. Yeah, that might be it. So let's see if that worked. Save. Okay, we saved it, our log. There we go. Empty entry is here, so we'll go to details. This works. We're just having a problem because we're not actually displaying any of the values here. Each child in the list should have a unique key prop, so that's another thing. So instead of our habit details, in here we need to add key to each div, which key will be literally the date, right? Because there's only one unique date per thing. So it will be entry.date. That should be the unique key. I don't think that's gonna change anything, but hey. All right, so that's better. Now, why aren't we displaying the description? Are we not getting the descriptions? So in network, let's see what we get from the thing. So refresh. Oh wow, okay. Here, the log response. Oh, wait, descriptions here, but hey, oh, notes. That's right. It's not descriptions, notes. Notes. We save that. We go back here, and there we go. We have notes for this entry. We have notes for that entry, and that one, and that one. So yeah, it works. We just need to display it in a little bit more nice way. So that's great. The way we're gonna display it is probably a list from it somewhere. Like here. We have text group, drop down, window, tree, tabs. Really, we don't get a proper list. We have all those. We have all those. We can display it like that, but I guess we don't have a nicely. Oh, there's table view. Yeah, that's how we're gonna do it. We're gonna go full on table view, and oh dear, with names and the body, which will be all that. Let's do it now. Sure. No, I can't see the link. I can't see the links that you're sending. Sorry about that. Don't even know how to enable in chat. But we're just gonna do that, and I'll be finishing for today because I actually have to prep for interviews, which is not fun. Okay, so they are recommending sunken panel and all that stuff. So we're just gonna copy this table. I mean, this entire div. Wait, sunken panel is, yeah, I guess so, because without that, you can see how this is within a panel. So let's copy the div, select our table interactive for each element. You can click and it becomes highlighted, right? We don't need that very fancy feature yet, although it could be kind of fun to make it into a separate component, right? Separate React component. Maybe we'll try it out now without that feature and then proceed with a little bit more. So instead of an ordered list, we will just shove this entire thing here, which looks just totally out of place. So class name, Aaron K. Dot space. Dot space. Let me try that. Okay, let's see it. New tab. Bam, bam. All right, so we have the page loading. A home are about articles and other stuff. Y, A, and K. Interesting. And we have this little fancy as probably JavaScript. So let's see what's going on here. All right. So we get our articles and about, so we're prefetching something. That's interesting. And this will be response none. Okay. So in console, nothing going on here. Interesting, because a different browser shows tons of errors. Huh. Okay, now we're a little bit better. So couldn't get an image, then just went on and everything is fine. Okay, interesting. I wonder why on the other browser it was just a bunch of math errors. Very interesting. But yeah, professional software engineer, focus on web design development, available for work. All right, so you've got a page. Oh, this has one of those super smooth scrolls. It's just so tiny, all the text. Like, you zoom in, but crazy stuff is going on. Because if I'm gonna go to, what is it? Normal zoom level. Come on. This is hard to see. it has like, I don't know. Is it rendered? I mean, it's selectable text. What the hell's going on? So we have our main, right? We have our div, we have our top. Looks like we're dealing with Tailwind. All right. Okay. So this, for some reason, is like very thin, very hard to see, in my opinion. Japan and Bombay. Okay, so we have random times. Okay, sure. It's just so tiny. You can't see it. And because the font is so thin, extra light. There we go. What will it look like with just light? If it even... Oops. Yeah. Bold. Will that work? Yeah, so it's also not... Oh, opacity 50. That's what it is. It's just... Okay, that's better. So we go to light. Now I can actually read it. Look at that. Here's probably also opacity. This is very, very, very bright. It's a link to LinkedIn. All right. Okay. Okay. And this is all right. And again, this is like, I can barely read that. Yeah. The font needs to be kind of reorganized. And I don't know why this is like so stretched out. I guess you went for style. I don't know. I might just not be getting this style. Maybe that's popular, that kind of stuff. We've got some random animation. Okay. Got some pictures. I don't know why, but the website is hard to read for me. I don't know. I don't think I can give a good review of that because I don't have good words for that, right? I don't usually do like design for websites, but for me it's very confusing because there's some text on the left, top left, there's some text on the top right, some text in the middle center. You have this stretched out all over. It's like, where am I supposed to look? It's like there's no guidance to where to look. Some text here, and I'm assuming it's your name. Some stuff here, right? We have, I don't know, name again, and description again. It's just repeated, just with background. And you just had some fun with blending. Random picture. And quotes. And then, you know, you just do lots of fun stuff with lines, which is great, but again, it's just scattered all over. Like, oh, are those tabs? No, these are some things. I don't know. It's just hard for me to read that website. Text is very tiny, and there's no guidance where I'm supposed to look to read through the content. So I know, chaos. That's how I would describe it. But on that, it's kind of fun. I can see that you're trying to go and find some style. Cool. Tara's asking how you're feeling. Well, my migraine is over, so that's good. See the electric one project. It's good, he say. He's good. He tell kinda cool, but I don't understand. But he say is down or something cool. I'm confused reading that. Taras says it's a page designed for people under 30. Possibly. And the text on stretch is clickable. Not this. But yep. All right. And you have your form contact and all that stuff on the bottom, some kind of footer. Sure. Cool. Alrighty. Let me get back to my stuff because I need to do this beautiful table make it work, and that'll be it for today. So we were doing it somewhere in here. And how are you, Taras? Okay, so we just pasted this whole thing. So where is it? So we have table, sunken panel, style. Okay, we need to do it the React way because React is annoying. I guess that's the reason. With and this and that. Okay, so unexpected token. How is there an unexpected token here? What? Last name, style. Oh, we need to do it double because object within there. Yeah, there we go. Okay, table again, class name, interactive. I mean, I don't really care, but so the head will stay the same. We'll have the on the left will be, I guess, status, or let's just say that there will be nothing here. Then will be date, and then there will be notes. Okay, and then for body, we'll basically repeat a single one many times, and that will be done this way. Okay. So instead of a div, we'll be doing a row. We still need a key present, and then basically first will be our entry for the checkbox, this time just without a label. I think we can do without the label, right? Then we're gonna have another TD for the date, which will be entry.date. We don't care about formatting for now. And lastly, we have the description if it exists. I mean, we're always gonna make the entry for it, but most of the time will be just empty. All right, so let's see if this did anything. Details, and yeah, we've got a table with stuff missing. So what the hell happened to checkboxes? We can't put in checkboxes? Really? It just doesn't support that? Or is it because I don't have the label? In our visualization, when we were printing the checkboxes, oh, we need to just have an empty label with it. Okay, that's what it was. So in details here, we just need to throw an empty label because reasons, because CSS. All that is good. We don't need this example one. Okay. And we don't want this unordered list on the bottom. We don't care about it anymore. So let's see what it looks like now. Tara says work last week before vacation. Oh, okay. So at least you have something to look forward to. All right, beautiful. We've got a list. Later we can just extract and not show the rest of the time, which will be nice. I mean, I'm kind of tempted to do it right now. Where's our date? Can we do something like split by t and get element 0? Would it work here? Yes, okay. There we go. So we've got our dates, we've got our notes, and a status. And yeah, it looks super janky, and that makes me very happy. And we'll need a back button, we'll need a delete or add entry or rename all those buttons, but that will be for tomorrow, all right? So yeah, we can see this one, we can see this one. Something tells me if we're gonna add an entry, let's say for yesterday, and habit fulfilled, but we're just gonna add a bunch of text for description, like this whole return thing. Okay. I'm gonna just copy this, paste it in here, save. And what, we're gonna go into the details. Wait, which one was it? No, it did. Oh, we did. It didn't add it because it's too long, right? And probably we got an error here and we just auto loading failed. No. So we fixed it. So there was no error. But something tells me I put in more than 500 characters and it just freaked out and didn't save. So that's an error to fix. All right. So I'm going to do it again for yesterday. Fulfilled, save. Now it shows up. So I go to details and there we go. We have the whole thing. Okay. So it works as intended. It gets very confusing and scrolly, just like Windows 95, 98 would be. So yeah, that makes me happy. And that'll be it for today. Although, why is it like it's not taking out full width as it's supposed to, but we'll fix that tomorrow. That'll be it. I need to finish for today and start prepping for interviews. So, yeah, not something I enjoy, but the necessary evil, right? So thank you everyone for watching. I hope you were able to learn something or you were entertained or something. I don't know. I don't know why people are watching my streams. So yeah, thank you. And I will stream tonight a little bit more of the learning Git, and more React will be tomorrow morning for the rest of the week, hopefully. So yeah, thank you for watching and see ya.